Right. So, once again, a big welcome to all of you to this very special 86th session. As you all know, that these sessions are being organized by India International Education Council and School Lalaji Solutions. India International Education Council is a not-for-profit organization which is working in the field of education. We have collaborators from 12 countries. IIC aims to create a better world through education. It also aims to build quality centers for elementary education, which are approachable for all kids, finding best educational practices across the globe and find ways to implement those in Indian institutions. It is also creating more awareness on hygiene and learning disabilities. It publishes a magazine called World Education Review and many other educational reports. It aims to build 100 chapters in different cities by 2022. It will soon open its membership for institutions and individuals. It also imparts training for leaders, teachers, students, and parents. So, as you all know that this is our 86th session. So far, we have conducted 85 sessions. During those 85 sessions, we received 7,792 registrations, 6,974 questions. We have seen participation from 5 countries: India, USA, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Nepal. From India, we have seen participation from 19 states and 80 cities. We aim to organize 200 sessions. We would be reaching out to 100,000 educators, 20,000 institutions, and 1,000 plus eminent speakers like today's speakers would be joining us to share their perspective on national education policy. Eventually, we would be compiling all the thoughts, all the perspective into a document, and we would be presenting that document to the Ministry of Education and other stakeholders. So, with this, please join me in welcoming our key speaker for this very special session. Our moderator for this session, Rakhi Verma ma'am. Rakhi ma'am has 17 plus years of experience in the field of education. She has been a university gold medalist in postgraduate diploma in school leadership and management from IGNOU. She has also been recipient of Global Teacher Accreditation from British Council. She has served as principal of Ryan International School, Gurugram, and Heritage Global School, Faridabad. She is also a CBSE resource person for capacity building programs. She has presented a paper in an international conference on teaching and learning at Wagner College, New York. She has also been recipient of various recognitions in the field of education like Guru Drona Award, Siksha Ratna Award, Indian School Award, International School Award, among others. We welcome you, Rakhi ma'am. It's an honor to have you. Thank you for joining. Our next key speaker, Sudhir Joshi sir. Sudhir sir is a principal and director with the Saharanpur Public School, Saharanpur, Uttar Pradesh. He's MSc Physics from IIT Roorkee. He has received many prestigious awards like PTA National Award from Parent Teacher Association of India, National Award for Teachers in 2012 from Ministry of Human Resource and Development, that was awarded by His Excellency Shri Pranab Mukherjee, former President of India. He's also received Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Award 2020. He is the President, President Association of Schools for ICSE Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand region. He's also the Vice President of Confederation of Independent Schools since 2018. He's also the President of District Basketball Association Saharanpur since 2005. We welcome you, Sudhir sir. It's a huge honor to have you as a speaker. Thank you for joining. Our next key speaker, Dr. Parvinder Singh Sami. Parvinder sir is Managing Director with the Ben-Hur Public School, Pilibhit, Uttar Pradesh. Parvinder sir has decades of experience in the field of education. He has been awarded and recognized for his contribution to the field of education many times. We welcome you, Parvinder sir. Thank you for joining. It's an honor to have you. Our next key speaker, Dr. Rakesh Nandan, he's the director with Heritage International School, Aligarh, Uttar Pradesh. He's MBA with the NIFT Hyderabad. He did his PhD in electropathy from Lucknow. He has been working in education for last 16 years. His dream project was, and I would say still is, spread of education in all corners of, this country or our country. Managing the heritage group of institutions, having he has been managing these group of institutions. So they run a CBSE school, also Heritage International Business School, a B.Ed college, BCom college, and College of Higher Education. So Dr. Nandan would be joining us at 3:30. We are excited to hear his views on national education policy. Next key speaker, Dr. Ramendra Pandey. Dr. Pandey is assistant professor with SRM University, Haryana. He is working in the Department of Biotechnology, Microbiology, or Biomedical Engineering. He was a FAPESP postdoctoral fellow, which is a very prestigious fellowship of Latin America. He was also a research associate at Translation Health Science and Technology Institute. He did his doctorate degree in 2014 from University of Delhi and TSCF, which is tuberculosis aerosol challenge facility. He is on the editorial board with more than 10 journals and editor in chief of Indian Journal of Hospital Infection. He has been awarded with the DST, which is Department of Science and Technology under Government of India, as a Young Scientist Award, Senior Research Fellowship from Indian Council of Medical Research, Indian Immunology Society Young Scientist Award, European Federation of Immunological Societies Travel Award, British Society of Immunology Travel Award. We welcome you, Dr. Pandey. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
And our last key speaker for the day, Mr. Pranshu Borwankar. Pranshu is manager with Fatado School of Music. Fatado School of Music is India's largest music educator. It is a brand which is synonym to music in our country. It has a 150-year-old rich legacy. Fatado has been working with 200 plus leading schools of India. It has trained over 1 lakh students. It owns titles like Bandit, which is India's largest school-level music competition, piano concert, cadence workshops, high jump training, FSM exams, in-center recital, FSM recital. These are the other titles which FSM owns. It enjoys partnerships with the renowned institutions like Berklee College of Music and NMIM School of Performing Arts. So with this, now I would request Rakhi ma'am to lead the session from now. Rakhi ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Rajul. A very good afternoon to all the key speakers and participants who've joined us today for this session. Before we move forward to the formal discussions, I'll quickly walk you through the key highlights, the key reforms which have been proposed in this policy. So I'll just share my screen with you. So NEP 2020, this is the first education policy of this century. It was announced 34 years after the previous national policy on education, that was in 1986. So we're all looking forward to implementation of this policy, which promises for a progressive, futuristic and a flexible education system. So the key reforms which have been proposed are the pedagogical and curricular structure. It has been proposed that will be changed from 10 plus 2 to 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So the first 5 years will be the foundation stage, and this is the first time that the 3 years of preschool have also been brought under the purview of NCF and the Ministry of Education. So this stage includes both the 3 years of preschool and classes 1 and 2. And a lot of emphasis has been laid on early childhood care and education. Joyful pedagogy has been given due significance in this stage. This will be followed by 3 years of preparatory stage, that is for the learners of age group 8 to 11 years. And emphasis will be laid on the introduction of formal but interactive classroom learning with activity-based pedagogy. Now, another key highlight for these two stages is that it has been proposed that the medium of instruction should not be a barrier for a child's education. So the medium of instruction can be the native or the regional language. This will be followed by 3 years of middle stage for learners of age group 11 to 14 years. The subject teachers will be introduced here, and discussion of more abstract concepts and relations among different subjects will be encouraged. This is followed by 4 years of secondary stage. Now, this is classes 9 to 12. Now, the major highlight for this stage is the multidisciplinary study which has been proposed. So, the silos of stream system which has been prevalent till now, it will be dissolved, and children will have greater flexibility in choice of subjects with a focus on holistic development of learners, and the aim is to infuse critical thinking. Experiential learning has been talked about in all the stages, and it has been given due significance. So the aim is to shift from rote learning. The vocational courses will be introduced from class 6 onwards: carpentry, electric work, gardening, pottery, etc. Whatever suits the school, depending on the area and the region. Emphasis will be laid on hands-on learning, art integrated, sports integrated, storytelling pedagogies will be encouraged, and bagless days have been introduced. Topic centered and project based clubs and circles will be introduced in all the schools. Science, maths, chess, drama. There is a long list from which the schools can pick up. So these clubs and circles will be introduced. The assessments and exams have also been reformed. The board examination, they will have lesser stake now, and they will also be redesigned so that they can test the application of knowledge and not just rote learning. An agency, that is an assessment body, that is a parak, will be formed, which will set up the standards for the board examination. It is performance assessment, review and analysis of knowledge for holistic development, and students will be able to choose many of the subjects in which they want to give board examination. So students have been given a central position, and a lot of flexibility has been given to the students in the entire policy. Students will be allowed to take board examination on up to two occasions. So one will be the main examination, and the other one can be given for improvement. And another major highlight is that in classes 3, 5, and 8 also a centralized examination will be conducted. Now, this is aimed at checking the learning outcomes at an early stage so that proper remediation can be provided. The progress cards will also be redesigned. So we are looking at an end-to-end transformation. The progress cards will be more holistic, 360 degree. It will be a multi-dimensional report, and it will reflect the progress and uniqueness of the learner. And it will cover all the domains of a child's personality, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. It will also include the self-assessment, peer assessment, mentor assessment, and the progress of the child in various activities undertaken during the assessment period. So when we look at the progress card, so it will reflect, it will be very, very individualized for the learner, and it will reflect the overall development of the child during the assessment year. In case of higher education, a national testing agency will be set up, which will be offering a common aptitude test. Now, this test will make the child eligible for admission in all the higher education institutions. A multidisciplinary bachelor's degree will be introduced, and there will be multiple exit options. So because of any reason, if the learner drops out after spending some time in the course, he or she will be awarded a certificate after 1 year, diploma after 2 years, degree after 3 years, and degree with research credit after 4 years. So that time which the child has spent will not go waste. And similarly, there will be multiple entry options because an academic credit bank will be created for the learners, and the credits will be accumulated. And depending on the credits, the child can pick up from wherever he or she left. MPhil course will be discontinued, and IITs also to make changes, embracing diversity of learning, giving a wider range of choice to the learners. So these are some of the reforms which have been proposed. So before we move forward to the formal deliberation, I would request you to kindly give your opening remark, and I also request you to kindly restrict to a time limit of around 1 minute for your opening remarks. So to begin with, I would request Mr. Sudhir Joshi, sir, if we can hear from you any
Yes,
one point that you find is very laudable about the policy or any concern that you have.
the very laudable point is it was a much needed reform because the children are 21st century learners now, and they are being taught by the 20th century teachers in a manner which was used in 19th century. So it was a much needed reform which took place, and I'm very happy with it. But there are a lot of challenges regarding implementation, which I'll take up when I come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Parvinder Singh, sir, if you can have your opening remarks about the policy.
थैंक यू राखी जी. गुड आफ्टरनून. एक्चुअली हरवंश राय बच्चन जी की एक लाइन है कि जो कुछ बीत गया वो बात गई, जो बीत गया सो बात गई. हम लोग अभी उसको वी आर नॉट एक्सेप्टिंग न्यू पॉलिसी बिकॉज ऑफ देयर आर सो मेनी कंफ्यूजन्स, एंड when we forget each and everything of the past, then we will accept. And no doubt we should trust on our NEP makers, and definitely our country will rise with this NEP. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A very valid point you have put forth. I now request Dr. Ramendra Pandey, sir, if we can hear from you your opening remark.
Yeah, so good afternoon to all of you. Regarding new education policy, This is, of course, any policy always is challenging, but there are very good points that now there is no any separation between art, science, commerce. Everything is the same. Second, to bring the vocational education. It is going to bring a new domain for a job and for skill. And more than that, what I am liking more that to create a scientific environment that student, whatever the way that we will have the skill education, we'll have technical education, hope that will work. So this is the few point that I like to add at the beginning remarks.
Thank you, sir. I now request Mr. Pranshu, if we can hear from you, sir. What excites you about the policy?
Yeah, thank you and hello everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I am audible clearly. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
sir, you're audible.
all right. So, what we are thrilled to see that the inclusion of vocational studies in the NEP 2020 is a great step towards the holistic development of a child. Especially the best part, which we feel, is that the integration of arts and music with mainstream academics, which is really going to play a major role in child's development. The children will start thinking creatively and they will gain new experiences. So I think this is going to be a huge step and a great future for the overall children.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Mr. Sudhir Joshi once again, sir, if we can have your deliberation, your detailed talk about the NEP. What are the points that you find we can implement easily? What will be the roadblocks? Any challenges that you see in store? Sir, if we can hear from please unmute your, yes.
I hope I'm audible now. So, good
Yes,
afternoon,
yes.
ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be addressing the August gathering today. And I'm thankful to the Indian International Education Council, entire team of theirs, and of course, School Lalji also, for inviting me and providing me this opportunity. I'll turn on my presentation now. Present now. Yeah. I hope it is visible now, ma'am.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
It's visible, na? Okay.
Yes.
So to begin with, all salient features have been discussed a lot in all these workshops and seminars that we've had for last 1 year. So I'm keeping myself to implementation challenges. As educators, the principals, the directors, I have focused on that part of the talk. So I'll start with a thought, a very nice quote. The main hope of the nation lies in the proper education of the youth. And I'm very happy that the national education policy is focusing on this as well only. And coming to the national education policy, chapter 1, school education, in paragraph 1.3, it deals with the early child care and education, termed as ECCE. Now that pre-primary education has come into the formal sector now, it has become a part of the school education. Earlier it was an informal part, especially classes pre-nursery, nursery, lower KG and upper KG. Now the challenges, what I feel is, one side we have very good institutions dealing very nicely with the pre-primary education. But on the other hand, we have Anganwadis where they have just one rented out room which serves as a kitchen, which serves as a storeroom, and which serves as a classroom for 3 classes altogether. And they are taught by the Anganwadi workers who are not professionally qualified for that work. How will these children come into mainstream when they join class 1? So this is my first concern. Then on page 8 in chapter 3.1, there is a portion on curtailing dropout rate. And it's very interesting what it states is that in 2015, there was 6.2 crore children who were out of school. And the dropout rate for class 6 to 8 was 90.7%, but when it came to class 11 and 12, it was 51.3%. So in order to accommodate these 6.2 crore children, in next 10 years, we need around 62,000 schools having 1,000 students each, which works out to nearly 119 schools every week. Are we in a position to do that? Where will be the funds to do that? Next, we'll move to a very important section, Chapter 4, Curriculum and Pedagogy in Schools. Now, paragraph 4.8 and 4.10 are contradicting each other. 4.8 is education in the local language mother tongue, whereas 4.10 says that 3-language formula will be followed. Now, it is my apprehension that they will introduce Hindi or the local language as the first language, and English will become the second language, and of course there will be a third language. And I'm pretty sure, though God may prove me wrong, then it's in states like Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, it is going to be implemented very, very soon. And the problems arising out of it, what do the schools do with the present teachers? Because present teachers, what we have in our schools, they are comfortable with English. And when they have to teach in the mother tongue or the local language, how will they correct their notebooks properly? Number 2, translation of scientific and mathematical terms into local language will be a big problem. Like I have phrased one sentence, ध्वनि वह ऊर्जा है जो श्रवण की अनुभूति देती है. So translating that sound is an energy which gives us the sensation of sound,